Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base.
That's what Grandpa used to play.
When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy...
Hi guys, welcome back to XCOM 2.
Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Caption service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you. Call 1-800-916-7705. That's 1-800-916-7705.
I've never once had to wait for insurance to approve a test or approve a medication. We didn't have to worry about any of those things thanks to the donations, and our family is forever grateful because it's completely changed our lives.
AG1 works by making foundational nutrition easier. Combining vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients into one comprehensive formula. Start simplifying your nutrition today at drinkag1.com.
Every generation, somebody arises to annihilate us.
Nearly 50% of Jews in America have changed their behavior for being targeted.
The student came down directly in my face and spat at me. Your grandparents should have burned and died, and I'm not going to stop until you do.
What's going on campuses now reminds me of World War II. Just imagine what would have happened if Hitler had TikTok.
Anti-Semitism in America, narrated by Benjamin Hall, only on Fox Nation. We're talking about
Practicing good financial strategy.
Buy cash back. What you think I was talking about?
Not again.
Not again. Talking about cash back.
Cash back. Cash back like a pro. With Chase Freedom Unlimited. How do you cash back?
A lot of storms are forecast in the Atlantic.
Nobody is bigger. Nobody is better. We are the weather experts.
This could be a storm of epic proportions.
Fox Weather is Hurricane HQ.
Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. Many experts, including our next guest, warned that legalizing marijuana would be bad. You don't have to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High to know that. Despite the warnings and the evidence, more states are toying with legalizing marijuana while politicians play it right along. Vice President Kamala Harris herself considers legalizing marijuana to be a good thing. That noted pharmacologist even denied marijuana was a gateway drug while claiming to pardon lots of people who were never even prosecuted.
I think we both agree people shouldn't have to go to jail for smoking weed. We've pardoned a number of people. I think it's interesting also because remember there was a time when people would say, well, marijuana is a gateway drug, and these were failed policies.
Vice President Harris laughed when she learned there's a brand of weed named after her, but there is no word yet on whether that brand makes you laugh like her, or Jeff Spicoli, or eat more Doritos, or listen to Pink Floyd. Joining us now is CEO and President of Smart Approaches to Marijuana, Dr. Kevin Sabet. Welcome back, Doctor. This experiment with legalizing marijuana, you warned, the last time you were with us, you warned that the experiment is not working. I assume you have not changed your mind based on the data. It looks like you're even righter than you used to be, if righter is a word.
Well, yeah, look, the data is worse than ever. I mean, this isn't Woodstock weed, right? This isn't marijuana, smoked in a dorm room in 1980. This is industrial strength THC products like these concentrates, these candies, these gummies, these ice creams that are infused with just the levels of THC we never thought we would see. So it's a completely different drug than the old days, number one. Number two, nobody's in jail for marijuana. That's the good news. I mean, I don't want people to go to jail. I'm not saying we should criminalize adults for using marijuana, but I also think we need to be very careful about stepping into the area of mass commercialization and promotion because of what this is doing to kids' brains, to a lot of people's brains. The psychosis risk is going up 5-fold. People in states like Colorado. So Legalization, I mean, it's making money for a couple of larger companies. It's not getting anybody out of prison, number one. And it's also hurting our kids. And I think we need to rethink the whole thing.
You know, Don, people are entitled to draw their own conclusions, but they are not entitled to their own facts. I actually, for almost 2 decades, put people in prison, including people in federal prison. I can't think of a single solitary person who is actually in federal prison for smoking marijuana. So I am wondering how Vice President Harris could have pardoned someone who was never in federal prison in the first place. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, look, it's a talking point. I get it. It's politics. I mean, let's be reminded when she was Attorney General of California, and I don't necessarily disagree with everything she's doing, but on this issue, when she was Attorney General of California, she actually prosecuted a lot of people who's had not just marijuana, obviously, because as you said, it's not only marijuana only, but they had other drug convictions as well. So nobody's been let out of prison because of these issues that they have done, the administration has done. Instead, young people are just getting more and more the perception that the government thinks it's okay. And we just have to think about, do we want to go back to the bad old days of big tobacco? And that's what this is. It's secondhand smoke everywhere. If you go to any of the major cities in our country. It's the issue with lungs, cardiovascular, stroke, and like I said, the mental health issues, in addition to driving, in addition to the other issues. And people will, alcohol's not good either, but we're stuck with it. It's culturally been accepted in Western civilization for 5,000 years. We're not going backward. We should learn from it. And if our taillights are broken, we shouldn't break our headlights just to be consistent here. We should, I'm not saying throw people in prison, but let's have prevention campaigns, awareness, and not commercialize and promote the young people, which is what's happening. Today's high-level, highly potent marijuana.
Before I let you go, I got to ask you about this argument that it's not a gateway drug. I mean, to me, it's irrelevant whether it's a gateway drug. There's plenty of other reasons not to legalize it. But what's your position on whether or not it leads people to experiment with other drugs?
Couple of number one, look, it's true that most people who use marijuana will not go on to other drugs. However, it's also true that 98% of people using heroin and cocaine today started with marijuana, along with alcohol, because they're the two most widely available substances. So when you make a drug widely available, you increase the usage because you think, well, it's fine, and your brain, frankly, wants a bigger high. And so there's research now on brains looking at THC and looking at how, for example, when pregnant women are exposing their babies in utero to THC, that actually the offspring are more likely to crave drugs like heroin. And we're still learning about it, and we need to learn about it. But this idea that it's harmless, there was new data showing that half of the people who used marijuana in the last month are using it every day. That's way more of a proportion than alcohol. It's about 10% for alcohol. So we are encouraging heavy use, and gateway or not, on its own, today's marijuana should really be avoided by everybody.
Dr. Kevin Sabet, thank you for sharing us. People need to know this. They can make their own decisions, but they need to have the facts. Thank you. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Sunday night. Thank you. And thank you for spending part of your Sunday with us. I hope you have a great week ahead. I want to say Happy Father's Day to my father. Thank you to my wife for the gift of being a father, to every dad out there, and special thoughts to those who have lost their fathers. Until next week, you can find us online at Galley America or on the Trey Galley podcast. Good night from South Carolina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tammy Bruce, along with Julie Banderas, David Webb, and Tom Shalhoub. And welcome to the big weekend show. The big story tonight, Biden's stage front. Oh boy, as the president rubs elbows with the stars at his glitzy Hollywood fundraiser, he also appeared to freeze up. We haven't seen that before. Oh, maybe we have. On stage, and Obama had to come to his rescue. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is at the White House tonight.
Well, good evening, Tammy. That's right. Last night, the Biden campaign claims it raised a record-setting $30 million with Hollywood's elite, as well as former President Barack Obama. Let's take a look at the list of some of those celebrities who attended. George Clooney, Julia Roberts, little Ocean's 11 reunion there, Barbara Streisand and Jason Bateman. No press cameras were allowed inside the fundraiser, but video from one of the attendees has drawn scrutiny, showing what appears to be former President Barack Obama guiding Biden by the hand. Biden officials are disputing claims the president froze. According to pool reports, Biden warned if Trump is reelected, he will appoint more conservative justices to the Supreme Court. Quote, the next president is likely to have 2 new Supreme Court nominees, 2 more. And referring to Trump, he said, quote, he's already appointed 2 that have been very negative in terms of rights of individuals. Not everyone was impressed with last night's show. Here's Texas Senator Ted Cruz on Sunday Morning Futures.
Yeah, look, and that's his base. Hollywood movie stars and big tech billionaires. Yeah. That's who the Democrat Party is fighting for. Environmental billionaires in California, that's who they care about. People who are in bed with China, that's who the Democrats care about. But if you're actually talking about a steel worker, if you're talking about a taxi cab driver, if you're talking about a waiter or waitress, the Democrat Party long ago abandoned those workers.
In the coming days, President Biden is likely to be focusing more on his debate prep, with the first debate with former President Donald Trump looming in less than 2 weeks. Tammy?
Alrighty, well, a lot of the Hollywood celebrities at the fundraiser are not exactly young. And isn't that who Biden needs the most? According to one Democratic congressman, there will be a new generation of leadership if Biden wins in November.
I will say this. This country is hungry after that for a new generation. And we've got tremendous talent in our party, and there are young people on the other side as well. And I'm looking forward, after President Biden is reelected, to a new generation leading this country.
Yeah, you know, it's fascinating to me, Tom, because no matter who gets elected, there will be a new generation coming up. We're not reliant on Joe Biden getting elected for that to happen. But I've always wondered, especially with this embracement of Hollywood, I'm just wondering who is waiting to find out who Barbara Streisand and George Clooney are going to vote for before they decide. We already know who these people are going to vote for. What's going on there?
Well, you left out some of the young folk there. You know, you had Julia Roberts.
Yeah, totally.
She's practically a teenager. You know, it's really something. And I don't know if this is the way he kind of freezes up a lot, but I don't know if it's the Mitch McConnell freeze or he's kind of doing breakdancing or something, but he just stops, you know, and maybe he's trying to collect himself. It is kind of cruel dragging this guy around to all these things. And on a personal level, I feel for the guy. I mean, I get tired. Like, you know, these days when I go out, it's like I want to be home. I want to get in bed, you know, by 9:30 or something. But I'm not running for president, right? I can imagine, like, you know, someone in their 80s. I know. I mean, it's ridiculous.
One thing I can assure you, none of us are going to have to lead you off of this stage with our hand on your back. And Julie, that's exactly what we saw. It wasn't taking him by the hand. He had his arm around up to the back, like moving him along. What do you think this is going to get worse? How can they continue?
I think it's elder abuse, honestly. And I have had an elderly father before. He had Parkinson's, but I'm very familiar with like neurological disease. And when I watch him freeze like that, it does remind me of my dad. He had Parkinson's. I'm not saying he has Parkinson's, but when your body sort of freezes, it takes your brain a second to start walking, and you actually have to think before you put one foot in front of the other. And that's what I used to have to deal with to get your body moving. You know, it's like you have to turn on a switch. Okay, it's time to walk. But the fact that he's being escorted and their hand is on the back, that's like a very coddling and sweet gesture. But this is the president of the United States. And once again, I would not be dragging my elderly father to these events and not feel sorry for him that he's actually being abused. I mean, he should not be where he is.
It almost seemed like, you know, Obama was signaling that he really is the president, not Joe Biden. But David, I want to get your take on this coming up, because I get nervous when we hear a lot about age. This is about identity politics, that you've got to be a certain age in order to be functional. You got to be healthy, but you can be any age. So the Biden campaign does need younger voters, and it needs the younger celebrity backers. Here's something from the Wall Street Journal, David, that they've noted the nature of this generational gap. People who work in the worlds of entertainment and political fundraising say that some celebrities, in particular those in their 20s and 30s, are eschewing politics during a historically divided time and at a moment when the war in Gaza has galvanized some young Americans. They also note that Biden doesn't offer the history-making appeal of President Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. And isn't that kind of the problem, is that they were always looking at star power or political identity as opposed to what do these people stand for?
I mean, there's a number of things here. One, do endorsements, celebrity, or political really move the needle? The thing is, younger voters, younger voters are going to vote their interests if they vote at all. That's a big problem, the turnout. They probably do better with social media influencers, but they don't seem to have a history of moving younger voters. And you know, a little bit to what Julie said, let me ask a common sense question. Would you trust Joe Biden to drive you to the grocery store?
I wouldn't put my kids in the car with Joe Biden. That is how I would gauge somebody in their mental
But at least Joe Biden would be
wellness
moving
and their
at that
physical wellness. Would I let my children in the car with Joe Biden? Absolutely not.
And to add to that, it's not just that he's slow and has to process, which younger people see it. Younger people, visceral reaction. Is that person vibrant? Are they ready? But it's the slowness with which he then responds. Not just the stiff, but the slow. What you saw with Macron and Meloni at this G7 meeting was a very
All right, well, we're not going to be slow. We got another topic I definitely want to get to as we move on here. So Biden, in addition to what been worrying about young people, is hemorrhaging the support of black voters. In new polling out today, he's down 20 points since the last election in both Michigan and Pennsylvania. And black voters are thanking Trump for doing what Biden and Obama did not, show up.
President Trump, I'm so humbled that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right? President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. So thank you.
Yeah, so, David, really, this is really what it's about for all Americans. Do you care enough to show up when you look at the condition of your lives? You can ask that person what they're going to do.
Yeah, you need, again, back to their interests. What matters in Detroit? Detroit, by the numbers, is a perfect place for Donald Trump to go. Go into the 180 Church. They have about a 300-person congregation, but it's where they are and what they represent. You have a city that's lost 34% of its population since 2000. Before that, 25%. Median incomes are in the mid to high 20,000s. You look at the age demographic. You look at a city that is now somewhere around 78% black. And the failures, and that reflects so many other cities. So to go there and address it and look at the data and the outcomes of liberal progressive failures, not leadership, but failures all over the country, and say, as he said, first, what the hell do you have to lose?
Yeah. Now, Julie, at the same time, this is for people who know who failed them. Isn't it a sign of leadership that you're going beyond your base? You're thinking not just of the politics of it, but all Americans in this case.
I think Democrats have been very comfortable knowing that the middle class are going to vote for them. That tide has completely changed now. The middle class, the small business owners, the African American community, 78% with which is in fact Detroit is African American. That's the community that the Democrats are really truly losing, and the reason why is because they can't afford to live anymore. They can't afford to live on the salary that you mentioned just now.
Yeah.
Who can afford to live on that now?
Nobody.
When your
Cost
per
of
capita
inflation.
income is almost 20,000 less than the state's per capita.
Yes.
Come on.
Well, then you become reliant on and you become reliant on the government. Tom, we've got this, which I think is also very interesting. I guess this is a rapper, I Swear Vezzo. He's a Detroit rapper. Here he is on why he's voting for Trump.
I don't vote based off personal feelings. I don't agree with everything about President Trump. I don't agree with 100% everything that anybody does. However, I'm not voting based off of personal feelings. I'm voting based off personal experience. I've experienced Trump as president. I've experienced Joe Biden as president. And I like the way I like Trump as president more.
Excellent. Isn't that what it's about for most people, Tom?
Yes, I believe it was Walter Lippmann who said, if you've lost, I swear Vezzo.
You've lost
America.
Yeah, and it's true. That guy was like speaking for every American.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Let's go to America.
And it's so interesting that Donald Trump is in a very interesting position now because he has cultivated MAGA America and Red State America, and they are in his camp so hard that he can now turn to them and say, hold my beer. I'm going to Detroit.
Exactly.
I'm going to Philadelphia. It's, you know, he now knows he can start experimenting. Why don't I try this out? Why don't I go to places like, places in the Midwest that I never thought I would, Minnesota. He wants to make that competitive.
Yeah.
So, and then what do you have the current administration doing at this fundraiser? Talking about the Supreme Court. Now, if you are worried about seats on the Supreme Court, you are a liberal activist. Okay, so he's trying to shore up the liberals, and Trump is going after, new territory here. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's that rapper we care more about than we do about Barbara Streisand, right? I mean, let's be honest. All right, we do have to go. We have to go. All right. A big hour of the big weekend show is still ahead. It's been so much fun already, including this.
I will eliminate taxes on tips for restaurant workers and hospitality workers and anyone else relying on tips. No more taxes on tips.
Alrighty, Trump doubles down on a promise that Republicans say could give him a win in November. There are so many things. And his challenge for you when you're eating out. Plus,
this is the result of the extreme left, and you see crap, and people worrying so much about offending other people.
a cancel culture clash between Elaine and Cherry. Also coming up, the liberal media makes Father's Day political and celebrates men who knew they weren't ready to be dads.
I'm Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and this is Boost Oxygen. Boost has 95% pure oxygen in portable, lightweight, and completely recyclable canisters. It's for all natural respiratory support, no prescription needed. Boost Oxygen is for performance. It's for results. I love this product. From altitude, feeling winded,
read the room,
to just feeling better. Boost, baby, boost.
Hi, Tom. What are you, Future Tom? After we find out about GovX.com, the saving site for pets like us, nurses, first responders, and other Americans who serve. Well, you look great. We look great, Tom, with thousands of exclusive discounts. Our drinks are cold, our watches are smart, and our future is so bright we gotta wear premium shades at an unbeatable price. Am I in some kind of tropical paradise? With travel deals from GovX, you're about to be. But quick, you gotta sign up or I'll cease to exist. Visit GovX.com.
This is Poof, the fastest growing pet odor eliminator in the world. It's safe for people, pets, and the planet. Powerful enough to eliminate the stink from any organic odor. Yet it's safe enough to use on pet toys, their beds, even on them. So why waste money on any product that doesn't totally eliminate the stink? There's only one, Poof, available online and at these stores. If it's not Poof, it stinks.
If you're shopping for a home, Realtor.com only shows you homes for sale sourced directly from professionals, meaning you can trust every home listing is a real listing.
Don't all apps do that?
Not really. Trust the #1 app real estate professionals trust.
Monday, Trump's VP shortlist. Who's America's pick?
Kevin Hart, he'd be an awesome candidate.
It's gonna be Rubio. Find out on Jesse Waters Primetime.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box. These days at the local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to our ranks. The veterans is the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving our veterans, our communities, and our country. Oh yeah, and our veteran perks program will save you thousands on shopping, dining, products, and services across the country. Join us at Legion.ca.
Welcome back to the big weekend show. No taxes on tips. Trump is doubling down on his promise that could impact service workers everywhere. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth is live in Detroit. Madison?
We're getting thin on manpower.
Hey, Tom. So former President Donald Trump, he spent his Saturday making his pitch to voters here in Detroit, Michigan. He spent his time across two separate events. First, stopping by the historically black church, 180 Church, and then going to the Turning Point Convention downtown. At both venues, he echoed a policy that the businessman vows will go into effect if he takes office. That is, no tax on tips.
I will eliminate taxes on tips for restaurant workers and hospitality workers and anyone else relying on tips. No more taxes on tips. No taxes on tips. In fact, on your receipt, when you get your receipt for a restaurant, you know who sent me one? Kid Rock. How good is Kid Rock? This Negro is like but he sent me a receipt. And he wrote on the receipt, vote for Trump and you won't pay taxes on tips. I said, that's very smart.
So we were also inside 180 Church yesterday. He made that same point there as well, telling anyone in attendance that's supporting him that when you go to check out at a restaurant and write on that receipt, say that you won't get taxed on your tips if President Donald Trump returns to the Oval Office. That's a policy that could do very well in a swing state like Nevada, which has a ton of very big entertainment scene. Another policy that the president is pushing that would have an effect across really the entire country and anyone with a home is his promise to reverse green energy standards for home appliances.
Let these people destroy our country like this. I mean, they're going crazy. Today you read where they don't want to have any water in your dishwasher. So your dishwasher won't work. And they think that's good. So what you do is you keep having it go on and on and on. The electric bill is 10 times more than the water. We'll turn it back on the first day. We're going to do a lot of things on the first day. We're going to take care of a lot of problems.
The president plans to continue spreading his campaign policy this week. The next stop will be Wisconsin on Tuesday. We do know that he's going to talk about immigration there as well as crime in the city. But based off of what we saw this weekend, do expect that tax on tips that will likely come up as well. Tom?
Thank you, Madison. Ted Cruz says Trump's idea could give him a big W in one swing state. Here's the senator early on Sunday Morning Futures.
If you look at tips, there are a ton of different industries where that tips provide vital elements of their compensation. There are a lot of folks who are working incredibly hard. On average, tipped workers make about $6,000 in a given year from tips. And I think the president is exactly right that it is simpler and fairer to just exempt tips from federal income tax. I'll tell you, that single policy alone could very well win Donald Trump the state of Nevada. I'm going to be fighting to get it done, drafting the legislation and filing it this coming week.
Okay, Tammy, you had a reaction to the president's stance on the shower heads. Tell me why you had that reaction.
You know, this has been back and forth, right? This is the micromanaging of our lives. This is the kind of thing that we feel every day when you just can't get enough water out of the shower head or enough water in the dishwasher. Or the thing, it's like, why is this an issue? Why are they thinking this way when we can't even have our kid walk to school alone because of drugs and because of gangs? And they're like, it's just these dumb issues. But I would also say that this is Trump's strength. Obviously, reversing the insanity that we've got under Biden and his team is campaigning on more of the same. If you loved all the crap and the burning dumpster fire of the country, we're going to set it on fire even more. And so that's the difference. And these are the taxes on tips, the dishwashers, the water differences, that all of this green stuff. Everybody hates the light bulbs again. They went after the light bulbs again. All of this needs to change.
Julie, he mentioned waiters and waitresses, other professions as well, right?
Yes, of course. People that work in hair salons, they live off of tips. I mean, it's a commission-based business. That's the whole reason. That's where they get their money. And why would you want to screw over middle America? Because that is middle America. Those are your voters. That's your base. And that's why I'm telling you, the fact that that former President Trump is campaigning in these minority neighborhoods, in these middle-class neighborhoods, in these low-class neighborhoods. It's the first time that you've seen a Republican really, truly hunker down and focus on these communities. And you know why? Because all of those people in that community are having buyer's remorse, and they're going to end up voting Republican simply because they won't, for one example, have to be taxed on their tips, but many, many more reasons.
Yeah.
All coming down to the economy.
David, what do you think? Nevada, that could make a difference there.
Look, I already give cash for tips. Why? Because I don't want the government to know about it. A lot of Americans do that. This resonates with people, not just people getting the tips, but the people who give the tips. That way the server gets it. The government doesn't know.
Yeah, I know. I never, when the tip comes up on the app, I'm thinking, are they really getting this?
One way to get around that is Venmo privately and don't write tip. Just write, whatever you want. You can just put a heart in
I'm
there.
always nervous writing those things. Someone's going to look
privately
this up.
Venmo my
What does
tips
that mean? What
to
does it
avoid
mean?
people
Just
getting
buzzed.
buzzed.
Okay, coming up, Elaine is taking on Jerry.
This is the result of the extreme left, and you see crap, and people worrying so much about offending other people.
Culture war heating up between Seinfeld stars. That's next.
I'm gonna write you a love song, 'cause it asks for it, 'cause you need one.
Attention telecom tower users. Have you had ovarian or gynecological cancer? A proposed $8 billion plan will pay to those who believe they got sick from using talc products, like Johnson's baby powder and shower to shower. Johnson & Johnson maintains that its products are safe and do not cause cancer or other illnesses. You have until July 26, 2024 to vote to accept or reject the plan. For more information, visit officialtalkclaims.com or call 888-431-4056.
We've always loved taking care of our home, from the gardening to any repairs that come up. But last year, Grandpa here broke his arm.
Snowboarding.
Shoeing, anyway. He was fine, but it takes longer to heal now.
And we prefer to stay active.
We realize some home maintenance jobs aren't worth the risk.
That's when we call a leaf filter to protect our gutters.
I don't have the manpower for this.
Technology keeps debris out of your gutters for good. Guaranteed.
They gave us a free inspection, and we got our system installed that week.
Our leaf filter trusted pros will clean out your gutters, repair or replace your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system. Honestly, my only regret is not calling sooner.
It's true. Leaf Filter has saved us so much time and the peace of mind. Now we can focus on what we really enjoy.
Join millions of satisfied homeowners. Get Leaf Filter. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today or visit leaffilter.com. An official message from Medicare about fraud. Free need trace for my Medicare number.
Medicare fraud can happen through text, call, or email.
Holy Chinex.
Let's see this. Important mission.
I'm calling you about your Medicare. I don't give out my information.
Need to confirm my Medicare number?
Nope. Delete. Don't give your Medicare number to someone you don't know. Regularly check your Medicare claims to make sure they are right. Learn more at medicare.gov/fraud.
Pete Wolf at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
At Granger, we know dealing with the unexpected is part of your job description. And you made a promise to keep the line running, to power through the downpour, to be the one who always gets it done. And our promise is to help you do it with professional-grade supplies for every industry, plus same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. Because you can't predict the future, but with the right partner, you can be prepared for it. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
If you know luxury, it's not just a word, it's rewarding. Sattva Mattresses supports all types of sleepers with durable steel coils and plush organic cotton. Luxury is handcrafted in American factories and brought directly to you with our free in-home white glove delivery service, which is why over 90% of customers would recommend Sattva to friends and family. Sattva, luxury mattresses made affordable.
Introducing your new favorite shirt, the Lightweight Hoodie. Crafted with an ultra-light, quick-dry fabric, has exceptional breathability, natural sun protection.
Alright guys, we'll see you next time, alright? Peace.
For unmatched comfort. Your go-to summer hoodie has arrived.
Doctors recommend Colay stool softener for gentle, dependable relief from constipation. It's so gentle, doctors even recommend it during pregnancy and after surgery. Colay increases water in the stool, making it softer so it's easier